So if there's one thing that I think everyone in the city can agree upon, it's that San Francisco is small. 49 square miles, or 46.9 if you want to be exact, but even Disney World is almost as big as San Francisco. And Reno, the self-proclaimed biggest little city in the world, is twice the size of SF. So while the compact nature of San Francisco is nice, I feel like the density can kind of work against itself sometimes. With everything so close by, there's sometimes little need for people to step outside of their own neighborhoods. You know, even I'm guilty of this. I've spent the better part of the last year filming, editing, writing, and making videos all about a single neighborhood, the Richmond district. But you know what? I'm willing to make a change if you are. I think that with the new year should come new horizons. You know, I think it's time that we venture somewhere else. I think it's finally time that we take that big, huge step across Golden Gate Park and visit the sunset. Our voyage begins here on 30th and Fulton. For someone like me who has spent a majority of their life living in the Richmond, the journey to the sunset is akin to entering some kind of parallel universe, where Golden Gate Park is a portal to an alternate dimension, sucking you into its woodsy wormhole and spitting you out at an intersection not unlike the one you just entered. Siblings, cousins, long-lost uncle, twice removed, whatever the relationship between the two neighborhoods is, it can't be too far down the family tree, as they share quite a few identifiable qualities. For one, they're massive, primarily residential districts that together make up about 1/6 of everyone living in San Francisco, including 1/4 of the city's Asian population. Both neighborhoods have major thoroughfares bearing their namesakes that funnel an obscene amount of traffic towards some of the city's most popular destinations. They both share the same set of longitudinally numbered streets, referred to lovingly by locals and visitors alike as the avenues. And of course, they were both forged from the same sand-swept dunes that defined San Francisco's western side and that dissuaded anything but cliffside castles and gambling dens from being built. So when we refer to this side of the city as the outside lands, the Richmond is only half the story. This is the other half. As I mentioned earlier, the sunset is big. By both population and just pure square mileage, it rules over all SF neighborhoods with an iron fist. Occupying the part of the city just south of Golden Gate Park and stretching all the way from the Panhandle to Ocean Beach to the SF Zoo, it's one big, sexy hunk of land. 10% of the city's entire landmass is devoted to it, with over 85,000 San Franciscans calling it home. For many people unfamiliar with the sunset's majesty, it can feel like San Francisco's final frontier, the last stop before reaching the edge of the city, the country, the world even. We may have eaten the best meals, we may have seen the greatest sights, climbed the steepest hills, and think that we know San Francisco. But upon stepping foot here, entering into a domain where every avenue stretches for miles, and where every intersection is a chance to get lost in its limitless, maze-like confines, we realize that we know nothing. Unlike parts of San Francisco where everything has been mapped out and courses have been plotted, the sunset very much feels like uncharted territory. And if you're not careful, it'll swallow you whole. So we're here at the Moraga Steps, not at the top, but pretty close to it. And from here you can see pretty much the entirety of the inner and outer sunset and all the way to the beach. You know what, I'll say it one more time. Like, the sunset is huge, it's big, but I think to talk about its size and to call it a day would be doing it an incredible disservice. Let's look at it this way. One method that can help identify specific SF neighborhoods is by looking at their main commercial strip of real estate. For example, the Marina has Chestnut Street, the Richmond has Geary and Clement, the Mission. Each one a bustling center of activity and typically the primary reason for those coming across the city to visit. The Sunset, however, doesn't really have that single area that defines the neighborhood. Instead, it makes up for its comparative lack of a central business district with a set of smaller, scattered commercial corridors that encourages you to get lost and explore. Each area its own unique flavor of sunset, but inseparably connected by the way in which they contribute to the community. Yeah, I'm mostly talking about the food. I wish I had time to describe in detail all my favorite places to eat in the Sunset, but we've got things to do, places to be, so here's my Cliff Notes version. First up, Andytown Coffee Roasters. Snowy Plovers? Good. Soda bread? Even better. Santung's dry fried chicken? Addictive. Toyose? The coziest Korean restaurant ever. Taraval Cafe? Greasy, in a good kind of way. Vanita Thai, that's where I get my cow soy fix. Also, these places aren't restaurants, but shoutouts to Sanford Psycho, Silk Garden Center, and Three Fish Studios, rest in peace, for giving the Sunset such a rich homeliness. If you're keeping an eye on the map, the one thing you'll notice is that I'm hopping around, naming things that are at times miles away from each other, and to be honest, it couldn't be any other way. And that's because these places are like tent poles of the neighborhood. You know, each cluster of businesses constitutes a completely different world. You know, each one has their own atmosphere and landscape. They're kind of like planets to the Sunset's solar system. The distance between them may be vast, filled with nothing but the blackness of space, or I guess in this case, single-family housing, but together they form a complete family. And like any self-respecting space cadet blasting off into the unknown, sometimes you want to see what's beyond our world. Well, I'll give you a hint. It's a little wet. To the west, beyond the Great Highway and a 2-mile-long barricade of ice plant, lies San Francisco's greatest natural wonder, Ocean Beach. The Sunset has long been synonymous with the relaxed attitude of beach enthusiasts that live on the fringes of the city, and it's this subset of the larger Sunset community that feels especially like nothing else. Nowhere else in San Francisco can you waltz lazily across the highway, down towards the shore, and settle your butt comfortably into the dune to watch the sunset. And nowhere else in San Francisco can you do the exact same thing, but with wind whipping sand in your face as the same sunset is concealed by a wall of fog. Everyone who lives here knows the paradox of the sunset, but they accept it all the same. So the whole reason why I wanted to talk about the Sunset is not because it's odd or strange or peculiar, but because it's just great. Downtown's no more than a short train ride away, but the Sunset forever feels detached from the lightning fast pace of a big city. And that's just how it goes out here. The Sunset District is suburbia, re-envisioned and repackaged for the modern urbanite. Brave the pilgrimage to its sandy shores and you'll probably be happy. But dare to tread its seemingly never-ending catacomb of housing and you'll be handsomely rewarded with a glimpse into a vast microcosm of the city's culture, as well as an opportunity to experience one of the most beautifully understated spots in all of San Francisco. Say hi. He's always doing this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I don't do many videos about stuff other than the Richmond district, so this was kind of like a good first step in experimenting outside of my own neighborhood. So if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed and want to see more of my videos, and even hit the notification bell. Never get that right. And hit the notification bell down below if you want to see when I release new videos and get alerted for that, because I'll have a lot of videos coming up this year and I'm sure you don't want to miss them. All right, Daniel, you can stand. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next spot.